Today, I will make sense of show Fullness secret also FCC film called The Room. Spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and fare thee well. A youthful couple, Matt and Kate, move into their new home in upstate New York. Both of them partake in the early season of being a youthful heroes couple as they start once more. Their new house requires redesigns and fixes to a great extent, so they begin to work around it. After coordinating the kitchen, Kate sees a dead bird inside a cupboard and goes outside to cover it. She gets occupied by Matt, who converses with her from the window, and thinks back to see the bird vanish. While discarding stuff that accompanied the house, Matt notifications something abnormal in the wall, so he tears the backdrop to see it better. In there, he uncovers an enormous entryway with a bizarre keyhole. While trying to open the entryway, he scavenges through the heap of old stuff and views as the key. Mart supplements it into the keyhole and quickly calls Kate to educate her. They open the entryway together. What's more, the lights in the lobby out of now here glimmer. Mart calls the power organization to report the issue, and Kate faculties something strange about the room, so she follows him. The next day, an administrator from the power organization shows up to review the reason for the floods. Amazingly, the wires in the cellar are old and entwined in such an unusual looking manner. At the point when Mark inquires as to whether he can make any kind of differences either way, the administrator says that he has seen nothing like it. Before the administrator leaves, he informs Mark regarding the house's past proprietor who got killed inside the house. After hearing the stunning news, he promptly investigates as needs to be about it. In an old news story, Mark discovers that the couple who passed on are named Paul and Madeline Safer. In addition, the personality of the suspect remaining parts obscure and is associated as John Doe. Mark, being a craftsman, attempts to draw John Doe's face on his sketchpad and has some time off from it inside the puzzling room. He completes a jug of alcohol and wishes that he would have once more container to himself. The light glimmers, and shockingly, another jug shows up. Mart looks at the jug and understands that the room can concede wishes. Kate wakens to the sound of flashing lights in the lounge room and goes higher up to keep an eye on Mart. Inside the room, she tracks down him a long ways past, energized as the space is loaded up with new stuff. Mart cheerfully shows Kate a bonfide banjo painting and makes sense of that the room can give any material wish. Feeling that it is one of Mart's tricks, Kate dismisses it, however, understands that her better half is serious. She tests his hypothesis and requests $1,000. Mart scrounges around the entire room, lastly gets the cash Kate wanted. Still doubtful, she requests $10 lakh, and very much like that, they are Mughals. Be that as it may, Kate thinks that it is frightening and leaves. Mart convinces her that they ought to play around with it. The couple goes through the entire day wishing their life away. Garments, champagne, workmanship, and cash are only one wish inside their Sam. Matt and Kate's joy are stunning as they suffocate themselves in costly things. Toward the night's end, Kate questions how the room figures out how to conceive their desires, yet Matt tells her not to stress over it. For the next days, their tomfoolery and luxuriousness exceeds all rational limitations. Each time they make a wish, lights gleam. Thus does the power source in the cellar. They praise their short-term abundance by celebrating together inside room with beverage and gifts. Nonetheless, tomfoolery and activity don't keep going long. Kate gets up the next daytime feeling unfilled as the material things neglect to make up for a shortcoming inside her. Matt becomes worried about it and astonishes her with a lodging, indicating that they ought to attempt to have a child. As opposed to his assumptions, Kate blows up about the shock as she previously had two unsuccessful labors and tempers out of the house. Afterward, Kate returns inside and suddenly wants for a child inside the strange room. As Matt finds out about it, he blows up that she didn't counsel him prior to wanting for a child. Both get into a warm contention, Kate guaranteeing that she did it as an easy route to parenthood, without the chance of a premature delivery and the aggravation of labor. Kate makes sense of that they would be glad like that. Matt is absolutely against the thought and desires Kate to take the child back to the space to want for the child's vanishing. At that point, the couple goes into the room, yet Kate mournfully won't surrender the child. All things considered, she hands the child over to Matt, yet he was unable to complete the deed also. He was unable to inspire himself to want for the child to vanish, and returns it to his better half previously living. At last, the two of them choose to keep the child, and they become guardians short term. While right in front of him, Matt spots his incomplete drawing of John Doe and does more research about the occurrence that happened many years prior. He discovers that the thought killer is as yet alive in a mental clinic. In one more field news story, John Doe says that the room caused him to do that it. Not long later, Matt drives to the mental foundation to meet with John face to face and inquires about the room. At his appearance, a medical caretaker cautions Matt that nobody has visited John in 45 years, with the exception of journalists. So Matt enrolls himself as one. At last, Matt encounters a lot more siege on John and starts examining him concerning the house, particularly the secretive room. Showing an evil grin all over, John tells Matt that he has been hanging tight for this second for quite a while. At the point when Matt inquires as to why John killed the seafarers, John lets him know that was the main way. John forgets about the point and educates Matt to take off from the house, all things being equal. He cautions the young fellow to do it as quickly as the time permits before it is past the point of no return. Period to leaving, John says, the main thing more risky than an individual who can't get what they need is the individual who gets anything they desire. Matt comes by a corner store returning. However, incredibly, his money transforms into dust. Along these lines, he surges home and wastes the leftover cash in the space to see on the off chance that it will turn out something similar. Then at that point, he attempts to bring the Van Gogh painting by the entryway, affirming his hypothesis that he can't bring the things outside, or probably it will transform into dust. Angrily, Matt breaks the wall to know the secret behind the room, however, without much of any result. He just sees the interior arrangements of the weird that are too hard to even think about the following. Matt then at that point tears a backdrop and finds a guide of the house with guides of the associate wires. In the meantime, Kate brings the child outside. However, Matt stops her, cautioning that it isn't safe. He doesn't explain to his significant other the genuine motivation behind why they shouldn't bring the youngster outside. Not long later, the child shouts wildly, as though it is in torment. While hearing it, Matt considers about aiding Kate and the child, yet he ultimately acts the hero. Outside, the child bafflingly aids to a small kid in no time. When they remerged the house, the couple couldn't really accept that what is before them while checking the developed kid out. Soon thereafter, Matt uncovers that the room can conceit whatever that they could possibly want. However, under the condition that they couldn't bring it outside. Assuming that they do, the thing ages and transforms into dust. Kate answers that a kid isn't a thing, is unaccepting that she can't bring their child outside. She becomes enamored with the kid who she professes to be her child and names him Shen. For the following couple of days, Kate self-teases Shen and makes sense of that he can't venture out from home on account of the perilous microbes outside. At some point, Shen becomes fretful, while Kate shows him how to peruse, making him pinch a fit. His entire life, Shen has never experienced how it is to be outside. All he has at any point known is the walls of the home he can never leave. Afterward, Kate gets the bundle outside and locks the entryway at whatever point she goes in and out. She gives the bundle to Matt, who requested it, and unpacks a pristine weapon. Tragically, Kate leaves the front entryway opened and totally disregards it. While she is caught up with playing the piano, Shen gleefully advances toward that front entryway and opens it inconspicuous. He sticks his hand outside and feels the new breeze, profoundly inquisitive about the outside. Out of nowhere, Kate sees it and hurries to her child indignantly. She embraces Shen, is that he is protected and safe. To forestall Shen from escaping, the couple chooses to hinder each window with boards of wood. That evening, Kate wakens to Shen close to her bed, inquiring as to whether he would raise adjacent to her. The kid lets his mom know that he needs to be with her eternity, making Kate hold him closer. Be that as it may, her words neglect to carry a reassure to Shen, as he actually looks stressed. Matt goes through the following couple of days realizing how to shoot with his recent bought weapon. He then returns home and sees Shen playing with a snow globe inside his craft studio. Stringently, he arranges Shen to leave right away, making the kid drop his snow globe. As of not long ago, Matt has not acknowledged Shen as his child and acts icily toward him. Not long later, Kate comes in and squabbles over Matt not acting protective toward their kid. At dusk, Shen strolls around the house and sees a guy that promotes the strong sailor. He sees the enormous power source with entwined wires and ultimately winds up in the room. All through the night, lights flash around the house. Yet Matt and Kate don't see it by any means. At the point when Matt wakes up, he sees another snow globe next to him and the messed up one from a good ways. He quickly wakes his better half up after seeing the glinting lights. Previously having a thought of what is causing it, the couple goes into the room, and shockingly Shen made an outside region inside it. The room that once had 4 corners is presently a huge woods where Shen appreciates building a snowman. Kate is totally hypnotized by the world her child has made for him and participates with his good times. Then again, Matt is maddened and gets Shen by the arm to bring him back inside. The occurrence makes the couple contend the choice about whether to allow Shen to go into the room and play. Matt demands that it is hazardous. However, Kate suspects something. While they contend, the telephone rings, and Shen responds to it. Regardless of not being permitted to get the telephone or converse with any other individuals, Matt snatches the telephone from the kid, and shockingly John calls and understands that the couple wanted for a kid. From the kitchen, Kate pays attention to their discussion with another telephone, and hears their entire discussion. John makes sense of that. It involves a definitive penance of life for Shan to go unreservedly outside the house. Assuming that Kate passes on, Shan can go out and mature similar to everybody else. Via telephone, John incredibly uncovers that he was likewise a youngster considered by the room. John's mother killed his dad prior to constraining him as a young fellow to kill her so he would be free. Then he tells Matt that he has two choices: kill Shan and save Kate, or kill Kate or save Shan. In the wake of hearing the discussion, Kate ventures out from home, making Matt concerned. He endeavors to crash the vehicle, yet she was unable to force herself to do such as being distant from everyone else with Shan in the house. Matt demonstration wildly, and even Janssens' studio. Not long later, he gets ready superior for Shan, who sits opposite him in the lounge area. The inquisitive kid continues to ask him inquiries, and with his developing irritation, Matt flies off the handle. Shan is informed that he is certainly not a genuine kid, and he doesn't have guardians. All things considered, angrily, Matt hauls Shan by the front entryway. However, the kid runs back higher up out of dread. In Shan's room, Matt understands that he hurt him and truly apologizes for his activities. The kid inquires as to whether Matt would be used to him, and they wind up dodging attention to one another. As Kate shows up home, she is as yet befuddled by her feelings. However, seeing Matt and Shan laying alongside each other brings her tranquility. Soon thereafter, 2 or 3 offers us a cozy second as Shan watches. The kid trusts that his folks will nod off and takes the way into the front entryway once they do. The next day, Matt and Kate finds that Shan went outside in the wake of seeing the front entryway open. In one more region of the house, they are paralyzed to see Shan age for the time being. However, he still has the physique of a kid. He presently has all the earmarks of being a developed man, and even holds his folks at gunpoint. When Kate inspires him to quiet down, Matt gives himself wholeheartedly to Shan, and the two get into a battle. Being tossed onto the floor in light of the fight, Kate gradually loses his cognizance. Minutes after the fact, Kate wakens to Matt, illuminating her that Shan kicked the bucket in wake of being coincidentally shot. Crushed, Kate goes out and breaks into tears. Incapable to adapt to Shan's demise, Matt solaces and conveys her back into the house, where she keeps on lamenting. Back in the room where the battle occurred, the genuine Matt additions awareness and searches for his spouse around the house. In any case, in an addition of frenzy, he sees glimmering lights and gets under the thought that Kate and Shan, who has shaped moved into Matt, are inside. Meanwhile, Kate is still ignorant regarding Shan being the one before them rather than Matt. Be that as it may, he understands the reality of the individual's personality before her after Shan makes one of his propensities for eating ice. Matt attempts to advance inside the room with all his will by breaking the wall and going through every one of the wires. He at last arrives at the room, which is presently a timberland loaded with woods. It uncovers that Shan utilized the space to broaden the open-air region and copy the house inside it. His ship moved into Matt to snatch Kate to the cloned home. What's more, exploit her in a sexy way, not set in stone to guarantee significant other back. Matt goes through the forest, lastly shows up at the cloned home. He breaks in similarly as Shan drives himself on Kate in his room. Subsequent to hearing Matt break in, Shan gets up to plan for another battle. This permits Kate to get up and leave. However, she sees 2 variants of Matt across the corridor. Her situation right now is amazing as the 2 have an uncanny likeness. One of them gets her hand by the hand, yet she pushes him subsequent to calling out to Shan, which catches his eye. Shan loses his cognizance subsequent to tumbling down the stairs and changes into his genuine appearance. In the meantime, Matt and Kate can't escape the room on the grounds that Shan keeps wanting for them to be caught inside. After innumerable attempts of showing up at a similar spot, Matt stops and thinks about an exit plan. 2 or 3 encounter Shan by the entryway, who progresses at Matt and wounds him to death. A short time later, Shan solaces Kate yet understands that they are similarly clones and replications of the genuine ones. Matt and Kate immediately hurry to the room's exit through the forest while being pursued by the Shan, who develops more forceful in the wake of being deceived. At the genuine home, Shan assaults Matt yet is pulled with him outside. Understanding that it will cost his life, Shan runs back to the entryway. However, Kate remotely closes it before he would get inside. Shan shouts "Mama," while Kate views at him as he ages into an old man. He strolls gradually as his body roars and ultimately transforms into dust. Notwithstanding his issues, Kate actually cries over his body, having invested a lot of energy with him as her child. At that point, several griefs to one another following a damaging day. After a month, they move into a more modest spot and get comfortable harmony. Yet, not for a really long time, Kate truly searches with sickening dread at her pregnancy test that comes out certain. Uncertain, assuming the child has a place with Matt or Shan. As though things are not sufficiently terrible, a light flashes, and she gets mostly certain, hopefully not by mistake, that from the start, they would in any case be in the room. In the story, Matt and Kate have totally been dazed by the wealth that the room brings to the table. With the unexplained enchantment, they become more indiscreet with their cravings. In any event, wanting for a kid after a progressing of unnatural birth cycles. The glinting light at their new loft toward the inn gives a thin chance of them actually being in the room. Or on the other hand, an error in the structure may likewise cause it. Among the most stunning disclosures is Kate's pregnancy, which would be Matt's or ultimately Shan's youngster. The night prior to the large occurrence, Kate and Matt had intercourse. Yet the developed Shan likewise attacked her in the clone home. The secret of the film does spin around the wish-allowing room as well as, at long last, the dad of Kate's unborn youngster.